I'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Motion to open the
I'll
meeting.
second that. All in favor, Ms. Valley?
Yes,
Mr. Heschman's a yes. Mr. DeRoss probably is going to be late. Approved minutes of the last working session?
yes, motion to approve.
Okay. I'll take a motion to approve. I will second. All in favor, Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Heschman's a yes. That's done. Robin, you're up.
All right, I have a few things. I'll start with the new stuff, if you don't
Bless you.
mind. All right, so I got an email from Chuck on Monday. Does the department have any documentation showing rate increases for both individual users and for development? So they're actually not all in one spot, so I had to do a little research.
Yeah.
And what I have for the end user sewer rates, I have the minutes from when they were all voted in, and I put a timeline on the front. Do you want me to scan that to you, or
That's okay, that's fine.
do you need the backup?
No, I don't, just the
Okay.
dates. All I need was the dates and the numbers.
All right, so I can keep this and give you,
And I found this, I didn't know if this would help you.
oh yeah, so she changed when they, yep.
Do you want a copy of this?
No, let's just see if that coincides with what I just gave you. Let's see, it was 216, it went to 449, yep.
Yep.
And
I found
then
that this
July
after.
2019, it went to 494.
Yep.
That's a little off, because that's 221, yeah.
And I got 593.
And then this past January, we went to
Oh,
593.
you thank you.
So that's that. Then there was also, what do I have going on here? Oh, the remediation fee was voted on February 4th from 10 to 20. I thought you needed the documentation for each of those changes.
No,
Now,
I'm sorry, I
That's
wasn't
all right.
clear on
I'm
that.
gonna keep these in a file because
Okay.
that
Yes,
comes
hold
up.
on to that. I think John wants that.
That comes up every
Awesome.
once in a while. And then the sewer connection and sewer development fees, I have from 2004. Then they changed in 2020 and 2021.
That's awesome. I could just take the cover if that's okay.
I didn't put the figures on there.
Take a yellow sheet.
Yeah, I didn't put the figures on
Oh,
there,
okay.
so you're gonna need, here.
I can wait.
All right. So when I
That'd be
leave
great.
here,
That'd be John.
put the rates on here and I'll type you up a copy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a little more, there's probably someplace where they were tracking the rates that I'm not privy to.
Okay.
So that's why I went back and got the
I do
documentation.
appreciate it, Joe.
You're welcome.
Before
right,
we
so-
leave, before we leave that, the minutes where the INI was increased from the February 2021, if you could send that to Chuck as well, because John Iota is looking for that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Who's-
Okay.
Who's John Iot?
He's a Viola who's putting together the submission.
Oh, the
Submittal.
EPA,
Yeah.
all right.
And then he'll want a copy of the original ordinance,
Okay.
which I'm sure you have.
All
Yeah,
right,
if you can
so,
just give me a list of what he needs so
Yep.
I know.
you ready?
Yep.
Okay. I just received this from Rick. Apparently, this is a permit from the fire department because we have underground storage tanks here. It
Yeah.
gets renewed every year. So I just put, it's through the fire department. I just called them to see what the procedure is because I haven't done that before. So that's just pending. I'll let you know the next meeting how that all worked out.
All right, do you need me to fill it out or take that off your hands?
It's already filled out, I just
Okay.
need to know the procedure.
Okay.
All right.
Underground storage, right?
This is a correspondence that I just sent to Doug Lab because, you know, the backup generator, I think you sent me, you did Sunbelt Rentals, they needed they needed us to set up an account so we could rent that generator, and they needed a certificate. Well, they came back and were approved and we have an account to rent the generator, but they want an insurance certificate. So before, we were able to supply that here because we did our own insurance, but now we've joined with the town for in a package of insurance. So I sent this to Doug Lapp asking if he could help me secure a certificate of insurance so that we don't have to participate in their insurance. But I pushed back at Rick at the same time and asked him, what are they charging us for insurance, just to see, you know, what's better, what's worth it. In
Yep.
case we struggle to get a certificate this way, I don't know. So that's in the works right
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Let's see. Oh, so Dyer Street.
Yep,
Dyer Street got approved on April 22nd, 2021.
yep.
They have yet to come in for a permit. Yet the water department was over there last week, noticed activity, spoke to the people there, and said, you know, if you've been approved, you still need a permit for the work, what are you doing? You know, just kind of like got a feel for it. And since then, I did get a call from someone, and I think he's trying to apply for a drain layer permit, but he had a very heavy accent, like maybe Italian. So it was difficult to understand. I did not return his call because I think that a commissioner is gonna have to go over there and visit the site and find out what they're doing. And if they haven't applied for a drain layer license and they've already opened the ground, they might be better served hiring a drain layer that is already licensed, or they probably have to put that on hold.
Okay, I'll go over there
Till
after
they
this
get
meeting,
licensed.
if not, I'll go first thing in the morning.
All right, so it's at Dyer Street. I do have the telephone number from the gentleman that called, but like I said, he was difficult to understand. His name, the name that came up on the voicemail said Gene from Eno.
Do you have a contact for Dwyer Street?
I
But-
don't,
Good, okay. I'll find out when I go over.
yeah, because we'll probably need that going forward. So,
Okay, I'll take that right after this meeting.
all right, so you're gonna visit them tomorrow,
If not, first thing tomorrow morning.
and, all right. Is today the first?
Yes, it
Last-
Today's the first, yeah.
I never get trick-or-treaters, so I lose track of that.
You didn't get anyone last night?
I haven't got a trick-or-treater since I moved to Rockland 6 years ago, not one.
I had a great time last night.
I love Halloween, I love giving out the candy, but no, we
You know
don't.
what was neat about last night? The older kids. They were so polite.
Oh,
I mean,
nice,
it was just, it was awesome. It really was good.
Nice.
I'm talking the older kids.
All right, so if you can just let me know what's going on, what I can expect to happen there.
Yep.
All right, the next thing is the task order. You were gonna follow up with Chris Kenny last time we spoke.
That was on.
10/20, the task order, the contract.
Yes, matter of fact, John Ayette was gonna send me the paperwork today, so I should have that.
Who's John?
John Ayette is the gentleman from Veolia that's handling after the task order.
So did we ever send it to Chris yet? No?
Chris should have it. I believe I sent it to him.
And did he respond? Like,
No, I will call Chris again today.
all right, because the whole thing started because we were concerned about the lack of signatures on it.
Yep, no, I'll call Chris on, to make sure everything's a go.
And then I
Before I
need
leave here.
I'm gonna need an executed copy.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the actual budget and capital expenditures you had sent. So Chuck sent me a memo on this on Monday, October 31st. And I responded that I have the accounts book and the previous superintendent should be able to tell you what the capital expenditures were.
And I found that this afternoon too. I went through
How'd
it.
you find it?
I went on the website, the town website. And I received this capital, or is this one capital? This one,
That's on our town website?
yep. This is the 5-year.
Oh. Which one's sewer right here?
So right here. And I also found,
That's a little different than what I have.
this Scott Curtis sent me this.
Yep. Okay, because I thought that might be a way, and then I was thinking about it, and the only time I ever come up against capital expenditures is when we bill Abington, because they pay a portion of that. But you probably don't need that because that was.
I won't need it
you
now,
know-
I got
okay,
that.
good. Oh,
Like I said, I would have sent it to you, but I just did all this afternoon when I got back.
yeah, I know, it's like crazy busy. I don't mind, I just, when I started thinking, after I sent you the email, I started thinking, oh, I do come into contact with the capital expenditures at the end of the year for that. So I thought it would be helpful, but if you have that, that's better, so. This here, okay. So did you both get to see the correspondence that I sent to Candy? So I just want to apologize, when I left that meeting the last time and then Chuck sent me the correspondence for Candy, I don't know, it was a little ambiguous. He thought I was gonna send it, I thought he was sending it and we didn't send it. And then I thought about it and talked to Candy and sent it today. So a little bit under the gun, but, so she has the correspondence.
I don't see how we're involved in that anyway till they settle the Zone A thing.
I think when there are changes, if they like you to review it in case there's anything blatant that you want addressed, they can address it before it even gets here.
No, let's go.
I think that's the way that they work it. But anyway, so I apologize for that.
You don't have to
And,
apologize, Robin.
All right, so what is this one? Oh, the IPP permit application, that's still pending, but we kind of knew that would happen. And that's all I have. Yay.
Do you guys want to talk about website, or you want to blow that off of this meeting?
Let's table that, we got a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
It's fine with me, I brought it in just in case, but I'm good. I'm so busy right now, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Anything I can help you with?
No, we're getting, so honestly, we did the liens a little bit earlier this year. So the liens get processed up at the collector's office, and she tries to target a date in the beginning of December. Because she wants to make sure all the liens are paid, then the liens that, the payments that aren't made, those properties are liened before the new tax bills go out. So she has like a set of dates that she has to meet. Well, this year, for whatever reason, I forget what started the ball rolling early, we mentioned liens, and then Board of Health and I got on board and we did them earlier. And it's actually working out pretty good because people are paying them. So before, the time frame was so tight, people don't realize that if we say it needs to be paid by a certain date, there's a whole circle of events that happens. The payment has to go to the collector's office, some people send it here, I have to bring it there, then they have to process it, then they send it down to each of the utilities to actually get paid. So it could take, a week to 10 days, and if your information isn't clear on your payment, it could be held up even longer. So I think going forward, we will do the liens earlier. Because once you hit November and December, there are a lot of other things that have to start happening in the work cycle. So this has actually worked out well for us. So just to keep you in the loop on that.
Is there anything else I can do to help you out down here? So we're going to try to get you with some help, part-time help,
I know.
with a 15-hour thing.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great, because I'd have to spend some time training them, but have you made any leeway on anyone posting for the superintendent
No,
position?
supposedly I have a meeting tomorrow, and hopefully that's what it's about.
Oh, good.
So hopefully I'll take it from there.
All right. No, I mean, I try to do everything that I
No,
can
hey
do.
Robin, you're doing great. I wish there was something else I could do for
You're doing
you.
wonderful holding the fort down.
Thank you.
You
Really
really
are.
are, I mean,
I appreciate that.
priceless.
So, things like getting back to the zoning fell through the cracks, so I'm sorry, but yeah.
It's understandable, Phil. Don't worry about it.
All right.
You still
All right,
need the
okay.
date.
I'll bring this, I'll have this ready for you before you leave.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you both.
We're gonna table that.
Yeah, table the website for another day.
Project manager update. Veolia. Let me go through what I had with him on that meeting. Actually, the meeting we had, that working session, lasted
Yes.
maybe a half hour last week.
Really?
But it was good. I mean, he had everything nailed down smooth. And I think the result of that is we already got the submission, and it's gonna be a matter of filling in the blanks.
Yes.
What did I have out of that? Here it is, the back of this. The work session was good. We should see the draft by the 4th. We got it earlier. And overall, he says we are in good shape to meet that. The way he set this up, so we can explain it on open meeting, is that this one was probably gonna be, price-wise, I don't wanna say the most expensive, everything has a price, but it's putting together the format. From this one on, it's all gonna be paste and clip,
Right.
plug and play.
Yes,
So this
Yes.
week, now we have it, and whoever follows us down the road, it's just,
the first one's the
Plug and
hardest
play.
because you have to figure out how to do it.
yep.
Do we know, will he being John, are they going to write up any kind of a little, like an internal procedure type instructions going forward,
I have no
where,
idea. What I was
how?
hoping to, and what I did bring up, is that where these are gonna be 6-month submittals,
Mhm.
is there something we could do on a monthly basis, a monthly checklist?
Yes,
And he was gonna put together something like that.
yes.
Just
That
so we
should-
have something, a punch list to
That should
follow
probably
up
do
and
it, yeah.
list down the tasks and say, okay, here's where they fall. So he was going to do that. What else did he have? He wanted information on the budgets, which I sent him, everything I had, and the rates, which I now have and sent him.
Yeah.
And I'll send him this quick update. You can see where the other one, where Robin is copying that today, where my big shock came when I came on board that they had rate increases in 2004 for developers, then nothing till 2020. Think of the money we've lost. When you think of some of the biggest projects that went on, Maplewood, the one down in
Oh, yeah.
Webster Street, that we lost a fortune, but
Well,
I think we're getting a handle on it now, to be honest with you. Before I go into,
when do you think we can look at these rates again?
well, I want to, as soon as we get this submittal in, is when I want to look at the rates. What I
Okay.
want to start looking at
Okay,
is developer rates. February, we're going to have the rate study done. So by then, we got all the data we need to start, saying, okay, by July 1, necessarily by the June meeting, we should have our draft rates by May, post them,
for development.
June, vote on them,
Mhm.
and May implement, and July implement them.
Okay,
But by the time we get through this report, that's the end of November. December with the holidays is gonna be a wash. And then to January
Well,
1st, we're right on it.
okay. I want to start talking about it because I know, I think it's pretty clear that we have an issue just with the I&I fee.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to see that go up like immediately.
No, I agree, but again, the reason I put that moratorium was in place was twofold, to buy time for that rate increase,
Yeah.
because I knew the EPA order was
Yes.
coming in.
Yes,
So now,
yes,
we got the order, we're addressing it,
yes.
because if we try to do it all at once, nothing would have got done, so
Oh, I know.
I think
and that's fine,
we've got
but
through
we need
the
to-
initial submissions that I was anticipating,
Yeah,
and now we could say, okay, where do we go forward from here? So,
yeah,
but with that now, let's talk
I
about
wait
this.
till July to increase.
No,
the rates.
I wanna start talking about it immediately,
Perfect.
but there's
soon
gonna
as
be a
this is
lot
done.
going into it.
Yeah,
Okay, this draft report, you have some concerns on,
so,
what page you want, Kirk?
13.
Okay,
No, starting with 13. So he called, he wanted to know how we determined the amount of revenue for the I&I. And I talked about the $20 per gallon, so he understands that. But there was kind of a bigger discussion on the projects that were listed and should they be listed, as well as table 3, the next page where there's data missing. So,
okay,
the question is what belongs on here as approved? If you just list everything that is approved, whether it's connected or not, when do you stop putting it on here?
okay, well, see, that's the
So
thing.
then, yeah, we
okay.
went, go ahead.
Let me tell you where it came from on this. I took, the approved connection list was from the previous superintendent's build-out list that we knew we had approved. All right,
Right.
from last year,
Yes,
okay? That's why I put page 13 on. Page 14, I took from his pending project list and there were no data listed. Now, I have no problem deleting those.
So should we match this more closely to our wait list? And there's a question. John Iot from Violi was looking at it as that the table 2 approved would be those projects that have engineer plans and an approval from the board. And table 3 would be those projects that have engineer plans or flow data, the desire to connect, but are not.
Waiting lists. Okay, I have no problem with that.
And then what you would not put on those are the ones that are in the concept stage or pre-application.
I'm all for that.
Okay.
Because, like I said, this is the first shot out of the
Oh,
gate.
yeah,
I
it's-
didn't know what they wanted, so I'd rather,
Totally agree with
you know,
that.
give them everything and then wean it out. No,
And then
have him
figure it
wean it
out.
out that way.
He also indicated that he would be willing to talk to David Burns at the EPA to find out what their idea of approved is. I didn't know where you
I
stand
have no
on
problem with that either.
Okay. You know, one of the things he pointed out was the Park and Howard Street apartments.
We haven't even seen plans for that, so
Exactly, so where did these numbers even come from?
I don't know. See, I don't know where Dave got those numbers.
Okay,
So I
so I
would
think we
say,
need to start on something that we can document.
okay, what I would like to do is to go with what he suggested. Projects that we have physically seen the plans for. Because let's look at, like Union Point, they could be talking about that for 30 years.
Exactly,
So I'd rather
And-
deal in hard facts.
right. So we have. Where's the wait list? Let me find our wait list. For our wait list, we have, the board approved was 320 Concord Street.
That's it.
And then the elementary school belongs up there.
Elementary's approved.
Right. Is it connected though?
Yep. They're connected.
So that's all done?
Well,
Okay. All right, so then that should not even be on here.
nope.
Okay. So that is approved and connected. Done.
But see, again, what I was saying this was from 2021.
Yeah, I
So I
understand.
didn't know if they wanted that because they weren't aware of that.
I think,
But what you don't got thinking out loud, why would they care?
right, it's done, it's approved, it's connected. Is it impacted by the SSES in any
What
way?
did the report say, the 19, let me have this. Show table development projects before the pay to the town. Waiting for the revenue to connect. Pending approval. See, I'm looking at page 13 is G. Development projects
Yes.
before the sewer commission that have been approved. Pending authorization can include or waiting, but if we've got the fees.
Well, if they've already connected, they're not waiting for any authorization.
Have they paid? I'd have John talk to Turin about that. And tell him if he wants me to be on the conference call to explain it, why I came up with those, I have no problem with that. But I would agree on 14, delete anything we don't have prints for. Because you know what, if this is gonna be a 6-month report, they come in, we put it on the next month, the next 6 months. All right, no, I agree with that.
So we would keep, so let's go through this. We keep 320 Howard. Bishop Lane,
I'd delete it,
I'd take it off, exactly. All right. Park and Howard,
delete,
Water and Liberty Street.
Delete.
off. Weymouth Street off.
delete.
Canavana. That's,
Canavana, I see, I
Oh,
wasn't
why?
why, didn't they already connect it?
yeah, that's a long gone long gone. They're in business.
Out.
I think the only thing that's not on here is Holy Family.
Yeah, and we still
Oh,
don't
that's
have
fine,
that.
yeah.
We don't have any prints for that.
Yeah.
So delete that. If they come in, then we add them next 6 months.
Did the planning board send anything to us on that?
I haven't seen anything. Sorry, yeah, I'll leave it on.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
And shingle mill?
It is before us, we have seen the plans. Leave it.
Have to add it. I don't have any data on that, so I'm gonna ask you to handle that.
I could give you the last sheet that I have on it.
Can you just send that information?
Yep.
I'd rather not.
I'll send that to you tonight, that okay?
Yeah, send it to John.
Hmm?
Send it to John,
John, yeah, okay.
please. So on table 2, 1015 Hinghams, oh, all right, so table 2, we're gonna wait and see how the discussion goes with.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks for thinking, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This volume of I on table that needs to be removed
Table,
is either one.
volume of I&I removed, the estimated revenue?
The 11 to 1 calculation. Is that outside of the SSES study, or is that part of the SSES study?
No, that's volume to be removed, that should stay in.
Is it outside of what's been calculated in the
No.
SSES?
Yeah, it's outside the SSES study, yes, but it is in the EPA calculations, I'd leave it in. I'll leave
It
both columns
is.
in.
Okay, no, I definitely you need to leave that in there, they're asking for it.
Yeah, I'll leave it in.
But he was saying just the total of that on those projects would exceed what's in the EPA. And then he pointed out, the other one, Park and Howard, the 338,000. Are we painting
See, well,
ourselves in the corner?
that's another one, when you look at the shingle mill is 429,000.
Right, so my thought was that this would be part of the SSES study, or part of the EPA.
You know,
No.
we're probably opening Pandora's box with that.
Well,
See, the
Yes.
corrective action states 11-1.
yes,
Okay, let's think about this. We could leave it up to the EPA to do the math and say, here's the gallons we'll have coming in.
the EPA is asking that we report the volume of I to be removed. So we need to keep that column in there. But the question is, does this I, is that part of?
Now, you're talking, when I say the I to be removed, you're referring to the actual gallons.
The 11 to 1, yep.
No, okay, no, you
Yeah,
also.
no.
The first column is, so people know what we're talking about. Proposed sewer flow, that's gallons per day. The next column is the I removal needed, and that's with the 11 to 1 ratio.
Right.
I guess the question is, do we remove one of those columns? I think if I'm looking at that, we have stated, Rockland stated the 11 to 1 removal ratio.
Says the volume of I that must be removed associated with the project. So we need all the columns, they have to remain in there, the EPA is looking for this information. John's point is that if we remove all that, if we remove all of the required I under the EPA order that we agreed to, the SSES identified, if this is in addition to that, or is it inclusive?
No, it's not. What that would mean is that the flow, the I is not there to meet that demand.
Once we clear off the SSES.
Would that be a good thing?
Well, yes, but how are we gonna meet this?
but we
Or
still
if we
have the
don't need
funds.
to, right.
I say we leave it in for this report, and then, like I said, this is gonna be a cleansing process as we go. I'd leave everything as is,
Just leave it.
and if anything comes out of it, a confusion, you know what? It's a lessons learned.
Because the point being is that if we have to do this after all the SSES, how are we gonna do that, and how are we
Right.
gonna track it?
I would say leave it. This is our first report.
Okay.
There's going to be pitfalls, you know, and we could work that out with them. I'm sure, you know, they're not gonna be, if we smother them with more data than is necessary, if anything, it's a good thing.
Okay.
But the other thing I had on this is, oh, you had the opera funds that are in there, okay.
Yes, and I explained to him, he was curious, he wanted to know if the funds were there, and I said no, that it's on a reimbursement basis, but the accountant has set it up, and that the town hall had pledged that money to us, federal
Okay.
funds, so. He's happy with that.
Got that?
Yeah, so I think that's it.
Okay, I think that covers the EPO order. Weston Sampson, where I had on their contract, I wanna get on that. Okay, the open contracts we have, with Weston Sampson, we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One is a rate study. We needed the rates and the rate increases, which we've just received from Robin, so I could send that off. The rate study we should have by February. We should see the draft by December.
Okay,
And that will open up our discussions for the new rates. I&I, okay, here's the big one we've got to discuss. We have released a contract for the I&I work. That contract is going out to, is gonna be released for bids on November 16th, I believe. It's gonna be posted on several sites. Bids are due in sealed December 13th. Why did I put down the 16th, the 13th? December 13th, which is a Friday at 2 o'clock, at which time we're gonna have an open public meeting to be held at the town hall. I've already booked the hall, booked the room, to open them and go over them. With that contract issued, we really gotta start talking about, I would say within the next week or so, finalize our discussions on the year one contract for $150,000.
for the control plan.
Right, because not the control plan, for the follow-up. That's to
Yeah.
monitor them,
That's, yes, that is year one control plan.
and that's
Yep,
$150,000.
correct.
So what I wanna do is make sure we have that monies available. Where are we up here?
So that, that's a good question. We could take it from the I&I budget.
Well, the one thing I wanted to recall, if we go with that grouting, which we approved, we're gonna be saving some $390,000 there.
Yep.
So we could take it out of that and apply it there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to vote that at our November meeting
Okay.
to push forward. I'd like you to review that. I'll send Dan, ask him to review that as well. That's the year one follow-up.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Wright Sampson, Wright Pierce report, CWMP, we should be seeing the phase 2 draft next week.
Okay.
Next week, the week after. Once we get the draft, we'll have a discussion on that, then it will be posted for public comment. What I plan on doing is at the December meeting, having Wright Pierce do another 15-20 minute presentation
Yeah,
on what they found for that, keep people approved on that.
that would be good.
The other one was an AMD grant that, I think I sent you an email on it, that I received initially from John Ayott, and I had never heard of it.
Yeah.
So I forwarded it to Jen. I got a rather terse response that you've had previous conversations. I have had no conversations with them.
Right.
I know nothing about this grant, and she said that's something the superintendent would do if he
Yes.
had it. So if that's
Yes.
the case, if you give me paperwork, I could start doing some legwork for you on it.
So, you know, I looked at it briefly. It looks like it's updating the GIS by identifying pipes and storm drains and so forth, whatever, that we don't really have good information on.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds like it's worthy.
That is worthy of it.
I don't know what, it says a grant amount was requested. I don't know anything about that.
I know nothing. You know what I'd like to do is, how about we ask John to follow up on that? John,
That's a good idea. And I'm wondering if there's any overlap with the Western Sampson control plant.
I'll tell you what, if you could email me what you have, I will send it to both of them and ask them to jointly discuss it
Mhm.
and advise the board for next week.
Okay. This is all I have.
Okay? Anything you have, I'll send it to them,
Yeah, I
say,
don't-
because we are totally on the blank, and like I said, I was looking for Jen's help, but,
So it may not have got to her.
so that's that. Rick was in, I signed a purchase order for a generator loaner. The generator went again, and as I said last week, Doug says we have to go out to bid for that. So Rick is preparing a spec. There is a generator available, so we're gonna put together a fast spec and get that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I found the capital plan that was done, so we can review that, but I think for the two big key issues for next year, we focus on the generator and the Spruce Street. Spruce Street might get covered by a grant. And again, what I have to talk to Rick about today was that this markout situation is getting out of hand. I find it hard to believe that we pay our superintendent $100,000 a year to spray paint markouts on the highway, on the road. So what I've asked Rick to do, and he seems to think it'll be done with the addition of a part-time staff.
Oh, that's an idea.
Well, you know what, like I said, even if it could be a kid that can read blueprints from the tech school.
Right.
I asked him today, he's gonna look into that. And I think this goes in light with the fact that we're asking John Ayat to look at what is the real need of the superintendent's duties. So hopefully we'll be able to narrow that down by the
Right.
first of the year.
Superintendent should be doing more of this budget forecasting.
And monitoring the contracts and the
Contracts,
I
all
agree.
of this that we're doing now.
He should not be messing with the street on the I-9. And it should not fall into I don't know why it's in the contract, to be honest with you, because Veolia has, Suez and Veolia at the time, Suez at the time, Veolia now, has nothing to do with the collection system.
Mm-hmm.
Their
Right.
job is the facility.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
should not be on the street.
Right.
And I'm not shooting guns or bullets or anything, but to me, that's a highway job. But if it was being done by the sewer department as a superintendent, to me, that's a waste of the highway superintendent and the sewer superintendent's time for that kind of money. So let's narrow it down and see what we can come up with there. FY budget, I pulled together, I gave you what I found
Yes,
out.
you did, yep.
So I don't know if there's any more information you need from me or,
No, so you put that on there, FY budget, warrant versus actual. And I'm not sure what you're looking for.
what I'm looking at is that we voted, the town meeting voted a budget for the town. Are we following that? Is that, those numbers reflective of that? Because and the only reason I'm saying, I don't know if in the course of the year it's been changed. There's been so much going on this year. So I made that up for you.
Yes, So this budget tells you,
This is our
percentage
actual
used.
budget.
Yep, so if you look at the percentage used, that tells you whether you're on track or not.
Yeah.
So the admin salary is over, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
The next line, you know, if you read them across.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I mean, I just didn't know what you had or what you didn't have, and well, you were looking at numbers.
I look at this, but I also sat down with Robin's books, which are more accurate because she makes notations for bills that she's paying right now,
Mm-hmm.
and this doesn't get updated until
Yep.
further
Like I
down
said,
the
I just
cycle,
wanted to
so,
make sure that I wasn't
yeah,
duplicating your
No,
efforts or
no.
what I have that
no,
I'm trying to keep it all focused.
no. I'm looking at the warrants and the articles for these bigger projects
Okay,
and trying to forecast
okay.
to
No,
make
like I
sure
said,
that
I
we have
found
what we need.
Okay, like I said, I found the capital plan today that went out 5
very
years.
helpful. Yeah, that's going to be
So-
very helpful.
I'm sorry I was late on that, but it's just, I started doing the digging in between babysitting. Well, with
Then
that,
you get points for getting it done.
yeah, with that, I think next week should be solely on this, EPA submission.
Yes, that'll give me time to look it over.
Yep,
I agree.
so I think we should
Give
focus
John
that next
time to
meeting
get his information.
just on that and get that off our backs. And with that done, that'll be the following week, we'll vote on it, finalize it, make all our changes.
Yep.
And once we vote on it on the 17th, we ship it off to legal to send in, and we'll be 2 weeks early.
Let's see, I'm just checking the calendar. So, next week is when we need to, well, we were gonna have this to them, to town council by the 14th, correct?
No, we want to vote on it our meeting on the 17th,
On the 17th.
and then once
Okay.
we vote on it, I'll give it to
So
town
we-
council that Friday.
We'll have a working meeting next week to really nail it up. We'll need another working meeting,
To finalize, vote on the final,
yep,
and then
and then.
that
next
Wednesday
round.
night, or that Thursday night, vote
Thursday.
on it the 17th, ship it off with all 3 of our signatures.
Okay, so the next 2 Tuesdays would work. All right.
What we'll do is we'll vote on it that Thursday night,
Mm-hmm.
come in independently on Friday, sign it, and then once we've got all 3 of our signatures, ship it down to Chris.
That works.
With that, I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
Nope, I wanted to talk about the
Oh, shoot.
additional admin staff,
Oh, okay.
if you please.
Now, for some reason, I got an email from Doug about a meeting on a personnel matter, so I'm wondering if that's it.
That might be part of it. Stacy Callahan is working up the final job description. She was gonna reach out to Robin and find out what is needed. And then the question is funding. I don't know how you fund that. Because it's a brand new position, it's not in our budget.
Right. Now, what I'm hoping to do is that I'm expecting a fairly significant hit on the project manager's billing. That's what I was gonna take out of the superintendent's salary.
That would make sense, because that's
Okay.
why they got hired to.
And once we
do
see
work.
that, I think what we can judge what our remainder is for that, and her position would have to come out of that. Honestly, the way things are going with the ads, I don't see us finding someone within the next 2 months. I emailed Stacy 2 more websites to advertise in. She's had no applications. But I did find a wastewater site that Veolia was using, and had a lot of technical positions on there, so I'm hoping
Oh.
that marketplace would be more advantageous to us.
We might reconsider the candidate that did apply. That's one.
Like I said, if I don't know what this is about tomorrow, so let me
See
get
what
to
happens.
tomorrow, find out what that is.
Right, because right now, I mean, we are doing a lot of the work that the superintendent should be doing.
Yes, I agree.
And,
I'm not
yeah,
enjoying it.
and staff is stressed, and, you know, we definitely need that superintendent.
Oh.
So, good.
But again,
Something
the
fun.
big thing I have with the superintendent, I want to narrow down that job. What is really the responsibilities? it really bothers me to pay a gentleman $100,000 or a woman $100,000 a year to do spray painting on the street. There's a lot more to the job than that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They should be doing all this that we just discussed, absolutely.
Just to refresh your memory now, on our monthly meeting on the 17th, we got Queen Anne's coming in, Queen Anne's Plaza, looking for an extension connect to the sewer system. I have no
Are they in
idea.
Rockland? They're not Rockland properties, right?
No, that's Norwell. We,
So there's the first question.
we provide some sewerage to the old Wereguard in that area. I think they'll look for an extension to that. But my position would be, they haven't sent us any narrative or anything. So to me, they're just coming in and explain what they're looking for. My first impression would be to take care of our own first. Let's get cleaned up with what we have so we know if we can let any outside connect in.
Right,
But,
and the moratorium.
moratorium, I really, on top of the rates, I see that a big thing to work on as well, because, again, we gotta start bringing in some revenue. And hopefully, as we go along, we're gonna say, you know what? Instead of the 67.5, let's approach the EPA, say, look, we just removed 5,000, can we take in another
Take
5
in
to
5.
generate income? But again, I don't wanna say my philosophy, my intention was to show good intentions, so that we're diligently working at it.
Yes,
Now we need some concessions to bring in.
show some results so we can start
You know,
generating.
so
the
what I
revenue.
wanted to show them, I'm willing to walk the walk, but, can you help us
Exactly
out
what
with
they're
this?
looking for, yeah.
And I think that's all they're looking for.
I agree, I agree. I agree.
What else you got?
What else do I got?
What else you have?
I do want to talk about, at some point, internal procedures and plant tours.
Plant tours, like I said, I have,
It's written up, I think the board needs to look at it and just vote on it.
yeah, I think if you got it, send it out to us and let's vote on it. I think
Next
72 hours is more than sufficient. It's just walking up. And again, I think it was unprofessional the way it was handled on all parts
It's just,
of those, because we still not to this day have heard any news about it.
no, I know. My thought is that it's going to be an internal procedure, which does not need to be part of the ordinance. It's just
Oh, no,
how
no.
things are handled.
But I think it's gonna be more fair to Viola. I mean, you just can't come walk down here and
Oh,
say, give
I
us
will
a tour.
send this out. I think you'll be happy with what I wrote
Oh,
up.
okay.
It's pretty simple. It's not a big deal. I think it'd be very easy for people to abide by.
You and I should work together, Mark. We got a lot done.
Well,
No offense, Dan, wherever you are.
sorry, Dan. Yeah, so next meeting is gonna be the EPA.
Yeah, let's focus solely on the
I will.
EPA, get that,
And get that
because there's gonna be a
wrapped up.
lot of tweaking on that rough draft till we get to that
Mhm.
final copy the week after.
Yes,
So,
yes.
with that, I'll take a motion to end the meeting.
Motion to end the meeting.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye, done. With that, we bring a close to today's working session. Next working
Alright.
session will be next Tuesday,
Tuesday.
November 8th at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
live and in person.